Okay, so this is Networking 101, and we are going to be chatting a little bit. Just because you can't see me doesn't mean I'm not still here and engaged. I definitely love to engage in the chat, so please feel free to, answer questions and things of that nature. Okay, amazing. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ibiyemi, and I do wear quite a few different hats. I work in corporate partnerships at Ryerson University, so working really with tech companies that are looking to hire university students, and I help them with their recruitment strategy to figure out the best way to do that. I am also a career coach, so I do have my own business called Foot in the Door Consulting. I can talk a little bit more about that later. And I coach professionals in business and technology to really transition their careers, or to accelerate it and to sustain a healthy career. Amongst other things, I do carry, like I said, many different hats, and I love this word cloud, and I encourage people to do it on your own. It really helps you to kind of develop your own personal brand. So love the word cloud there. Okay, so what is networking? And this is an open-ended question I'm asking people in the chat. So I'm going to give it 2 minutes or so, but I really want to hear from you. What is networking? I don't see anyone typing yet. Creating a people network. Okay, thank you, Gustavo. Anyone else? Meeting new people, helping each other. Absolutely, Steve. Making new connections. Absolutely, Amrita. Okay, I'm going to move on. These are all fantastic ideas. I like to think of networking as part of your journey, right? So this is your story, and you're probably here, right? Really taking stock of your education, your experiences, your skill sets, and most importantly, your outlook, which is honestly probably the biggest thing when you're looking to make a career change, or even to looking to get a new job. Really understanding whether or not you have a positive or negative outlook. But you're probably on this end and then you probably have to do a whole bunch of different things to get to your desired end, right? So your desired end could look like your passion, your abilities, and everything in between. But networking is one thing that you have to do to honestly make the right connections. So unfortunately, the recruitment system all over the world, and mostly in Canada, it doesn't work. And it sucks because it should work. And a lot of people are left out of the loop, but unfortunately, it does not work. So networking has been introduced as a way to kind of bridge those gaps, so that you're able to circumvent the recruitment process that typically bogs people down in the process. That being said, I want you to look at networking from a very different angle. I want you to look at two things. All networking is learning and teaching. And that's the only outlook that I want you to take on moving forward, right? When you're looking to network and you're looking to meet people, you should always think of the concept of, okay, what can I learn, or what do I want to learn? And what can I teach? I think a lot of people forget about that portion. Teaching, giving back, right? Being able to provide, expertise yourself. I always find that, job seekers and employers are sometimes on an unbalanced scale, and people think the employer is up high and the job seeker is down low. But the reality is both of you have so much to gain in a relationship that learning and teaching can really flow between the two of you in a very seamless way. So I want us to think about learning and teaching when we're looking at networking as a whole. Okay, so who should be in your network? You hear this all the time: build your network, build your network. And I'm probably sure you're not 100% sure on the best ways to do this. And this is a quick and dirty little slide to help you figure out the best people to connect with in your network. I get a lot of requests, and I never get messages as to why that person is connecting with me. And guess what? A lot of the times I don't accept. If you don't send me a note with your LinkedIn request, it's extremely hard for me as to why you're valuable for me in my network, and vice versa. So anytime I reach out to someone, anytime I also send out a message, a connection request, I always send out a message, and it always is in these 3 buckets. I think the first one is a lot of people always forget: networking with your peers, right? All of us at one point were university students, college students, high school students, what have you, or in your first job. And I think a lot of people make mistakes by always wanting to connect with quote unquote higher ups, right? Always wanting to connect with managers or senior VPs, but you always forget the people that are on your level, right? So when you're looking at building that network there, you look at people in your current industry, people that are on your level, and people that are in your program, if you're a student or if you're a new grad. The reason why you want to do that is people develop their careers. It's extremely awkward to reach out to someone, senior up, if you don't have that connection, right? Or to reach out to a peer when they're higher up, but you didn't connect with them when they were a peer. It's really, really important to connect to them at that level, and that way you always maintain a really good group of people in your network. The next one that you want to kind of look into is mentors. You should always be networking with people that could be potential mentors, right? And if I'm not saying, hey, reach out to random people and say, I want you to be my mentor. That's not the case. The case is you want to make sure that you're reaching out to people that can actually be invested in your development, but you're connecting with them in a way that doesn't add too much pressure onto their plate. Sometimes when people reach out to me and they say, yeah, I would love for you to mentor me, I'm all of a sudden like, well, what do you need mentoring for, right? Versus people that reach out to me, they connect with me, they have conversations with me, and I can potentially add knowledge and they can provide knowledge. Again, remember, it's learning and teaching. And at that point, you all of a sudden see that, someone has a natural development or a natural investment in your development when you build that relationship. It's not necessarily going to just be, hey, random reach out, please mentor me. It's too much pressure. You always want to look for people in adjacent industries. So they could also be in your industry as well, but they could also be in adjacent industries. It doesn't really matter, right? But the key here is that they're ahead of you, at least one rung. It doesn't even have to be that high, because that's the point of a mentor, to provide value, okay? And then the last one is an influencer. There's this new wave of LinkedIn creators that are coming up, and they usually talk about different things that face their specific industry, right? You'll always find industry leading content. You'll find, coaching sessions or webinars that they're hosting, and they're usually coming from different industries. So this is for keeping up to date with, knowledge within business and technology, just as a way to keep in contact with your industry, okay? Do I have any quick questions from anything I talked about before? If not, we can definitely move on. And I'm watching the chat, so I definitely want you guys to engage in the chat. Okay, after you've identified, okay, who do I want to talk to, which is a peer, a mentor, industry member. Thanks, Steve. The next thing that you want to think of is, how do you actually go ahead and build a strong supporting network, right? Remember we talked about networking as teaching and learning? Well, you need to identify what you want to learn. What do you want to learn? I can't tell you how many times people reach out and they say, I just want to be part of your network. And I'm like, for what purpose, right? For what purpose? You should always have an idea of what it is that you want to learn. Even if it's an area you really don't know at all, just from a perspective of learning about something you didn't know before, really, really helps. Then you want to reach out strategically and talk a little bit more about the best places to find people. And then you want to create something we call a personal board of directors. So this was given to me by one of my mentors, actually, that I networked with through the Black Professionals in Tech Network group. And, we got together and we're having a conversation, and he brought this idea of your own personal board of directors, right? If you think about board of directors for an organization, what do? They oversee the running of that organization, but they all have different functions. Someone looks over the finances, someone looks over hiring, someone looks over kind of organizing the board as a whole. This is how you want to think of your life, right? And I encourage you to write it down. Write down someone's name that's currently in your network that you know and you work with, and write down the areas that they help you with. So I have mentors within sales. I have mentors within recruitment, career coaches that I lean on and that lean on me. I have students that I've mentored ages ago that I connect with around programming. You want to kind of create and keep a personal board of directors. And that way, whenever you're in a bind and you're looking for something, you don't have to rack your brain as to who's the best person to connect with. This is just something that you can pull up and say, yep, this, Jacob always helps me with sales. I will definitely reach out to them. Okay, keep in touch. This is the point that people always forget, right? Keeping in touch is really important because at the end of the day, that's how you continue to build a network, right? Even though sometimes you may not have anything to talk about, just keep in touch with their posts. Liking and commenting honestly goes such a long way, and people don't always take that seriously. They always kind of brush it under the table, but keeping in touch is really important, and liking and commenting is a very easy way to do that. Okay. So you've identified who you want to reach out to. You've identified why you want to reach out to them. How do you do the reach out? And this is where, if anybody is taking notes, bring out your pen and your paper and just write down some of these things I'm talking about here. You want to create an elevator pitch, and your elevator pitch is just kind of your introduction to the conversation. You want to express your interest. So highlight what it is that you want the conversation for. You want to definitely connect with them. And then you want to make an ask. This is where a lot of people fall off, right? You create a fantastic elevator pitch. Oh, I went to this school. I studied this thing. I'm really developing this career. I would love to connect with you. But then there's no ask. It's like, well, why should I connect with you? What is the actual ask, right? You should always 100% of the time have an ask, because it just takes the conversation to the next level, right? And on the other side, it could also be a request, right? Learning and teaching, always a really good way to do that. I'm glad that you're finding this to be helpful, Sanjay. So how do you create the elevator pitch? And I've kind of done these sessions a couple of different times, but definitely take a screenshot of this slide, take notes, but essentially you're writing out, who are you, what have you done, and what are you looking for? That's your elevator pitch, right? It's very straightforward. And this whole section is not a paragraph. It's maybe 2 or 3 lines, right? Then you want to connect with them. When I mean connect with them, I mean, what is on their profile that's exciting to you? If you don't have anything that's exciting to you, look through their profile again. If you really can't find anything, then that's a good cue to not be networking with that person. That person may not be able to provide value. And then you want to make the ask and provide a calendar link. This is a game changer. I can talk a little bit more about it when we go on. But here's an example of how to do the outreach. So it says, hello, insert, obviously insert the person's name there. I'm Ibiyemi, Manager Corporate Partnerships at Ryerson, and most of my experience has been in diversity recruitment, career coaching, and now business development. I'm interested in pursuing a career in tech sales. Do you see how I did? Who are you, education, experiences, and what you're looking for? And then connecting with them is in green. I see from your profile that you've been successfully able to manage the sales environment at Microsoft. You just connected with them, right? It's not a random message that you're sending to everybody. The last thing is, I would love to chat to learn more about your role. That's the ask. And then right underneath that is me providing a calendar link. Would you be free for a chat? Here's access to my calendar. Boom. It's straightforward. It's to the point. The person knows why you're asking, who you are, why you're asking, and how to connect with you. Then at that point, they can either say, yes, absolutely, I've booked something in your calendar, or they can say, you know what, I'm a little bit busy right now. I'll connect with you in 2 months. Or they say, you know what, I actually didn't do too much time at Microsoft. I'm not looking for a chat. Or unfortunately, sometimes they ghost. But this is a really nice, quick and dirty message to send out to people, right? I'm able to help anybody after, who's interested in kind of learning how to build this for themselves, you can feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. But again, you have to include a note, or else I'm not going to know how to help. Okay. Where do you meet people, right? We've talked a lot about the networking process. Where do you then find the right people to connect with? LinkedIn is obviously the best place, right? There's a ton of different ways that you can do research around LinkedIn. And I teach some courses around LinkedIn research. So feel free to reach out to me and we can have that conversation. But LinkedIn, great place to find people. Online conferences, right now, we are in one, right? I specifically work within the sales environment, so I attend sales conferences all the time. Career conferences, tech conferences, whatever it is that is interesting to you from an industry perspective, you should 100% be attending and meeting people and networking. The next one is open networking events. So if you go to meetup.com, everybody should be able to flag it. You highlight your areas of interest, and these groups will come up where you can attend sessions. Meetup is a tool that was created mostly in North American, major North American cities will have some kind of a meetup. But essentially, it's an opportunity for like-minded people to have conversations. So it started off as like small groups where, people that love to play tennis will meet up, or single dads who want to play golf. Like that's a very specific group, but like they would meet up. And then it turned into a really good site for business networking. So there's tons of groups there. The next one that a lot of people always forget, online affinity community groups. So I'll explain what I mean by that. With the pandemic, a lot of these groups have started to crop up online, and a lot of them use Slack. Slack is fantastic because you can directly connect with people in those conversations, right? So TechTO has a really good Slack channel, Black Professionals in Tech Network, the people group. So if you're an HR person or a recruiter, Sisters in Sales, Accelerate Her Future. These are some of the groups that make sense for me as a Black woman in sales. These are the groups that I gravitate to. You want to find your own groups because you're going to, again, have an easier chance connecting with people that are already in your own group. Okay. So what do you say, right? I don't have too much time to go into it. This is so when you schedule the call. What I want everyone to do is take a screenshot of this call. And like I said, of this screen. And like I said, I'm able to have conversations one-on-one. So feel free to reach out to me. But these are some of the things that you should be asking on those calls, right? Especially if you're networking from a job perspective, you need to identify what you want to know, right? Is it industry knowledge? Is it subject matter? Is it the knowledge about the specific company? You want to ask questions like, how did you get started in your career? How did you get this role, right? Are there recruitment agencies, affinity groups, things like that? You want to be asking the right questions. So like I said, take a screenshot. And then the idea is that you want to 100% be engaging when you're having those conversations, okay? Lastly, there are some technology tools that can be really, really good to just speed up your networking, right? And I use all three of them, which is why I kind of let you know the tools to be using. Text Expander is fantastic. Like I said, I run a business and I also work in sales. I send a lot of emails and I send a lot of template type emails. So Text Expander allows you to, like it says, expand your text. So right now, if I was to type, new employer, my template that I always send to all my new employers will come up. One thing that's great about Text Expander is that you can use it in any window. So you can use it in LinkedIn, you can use it in your emails, you can use it in your text messages, and you can expand pretty much anything. That way, you're just, churning these messages out, but you can obviously edit them to make sure that they're ready to go. Text Expander allows you to, it sounds like an ad, but Text Expander allows you to basically edit as you go. And it's very, very easy to use. I absolutely love to use it. Calendly is another app that I use for scheduling. Calendly will create a link that people can, access. It'll go directly to your calendar, and then you can ask them specific questions. So let's say, you want to know about the job that they do, the company that they work for, and you want to know, their favorite spaghetti sauce, whatever, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, people that will book meetings with you will have to answer these questions. And then when you're going into your calendar, you'll have this information already ready to go. And that way you're connecting with them based on their answers. And it's, again, another opportunity to automate that process. Grammarly is fantastic because, listen, we all make mistakes. I do it all the time. I suck with spelling and my grammar is not that great. So I have Grammarly installed on my personal computer, my work computer, my phone. I just use it all the time and it's very simple to use. It just kind of will give you more information about your grammar. Obviously, if you want to pay for the premium service, it's great for people that are in school, but you don't have to if you're just a professional looking to make sure that your grammar is on point. So these are some of the tools that I use just to make sure that I'm able to really network with people and have conversations. And it's very straightforward in terms of connecting with these tools. All of them have a free option, so you should obviously be using the free option. You don't have to pay for any of these tools until if you feel that you wanted to, you can definitely go ahead and do that. So last point, 3 minutes over. Sorry about that, everyone. Have fun. This is a fantastic period. Meeting new people is great because you learn a little bit more about what makes people tick and where they got started and where they're going. And there's so much opportunity that can be had. So definitely approach it from a fun perspective. Lastly, if there's any questions, I can definitely take them in the chat. And this is my contact information. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Please, please, please put a note, or else, again, things get lost in the shuffle if you don't have a note. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Foot in the Door Consulting. Amazing. Thank you, Steve. That was great. I'm excited for you, Sale, to have some fun with networking. If there's any questions, I will be here for another 5 to 10 minutes or so, just answering questions. I know that I was a little bit late. Sorry about that. The technology just was not on my side today. Thank you, Shabnam. Thank you, Amrita. Thanks, Sanjay. Okay. Well, you have my information, so you can always connect with me. Oh, there we go. Perfect, Shabnam. How can I help? No worries, Adam. My LinkedIn is my full name. So if you just type in Ibiyemi Balogun, you'll find me because it's a very uncommon name. No problem. So Shabnam, LinkedIn will allow you to put a note in your connection request. So whenever you go to, connect with someone, you can hit the button that says connect, and then a pop-up window will show up and it'll say add a note or send. So you just want to always add a note, right? If you want to send a longer form email, then you have to pay for LinkedIn Premium. And you can obviously send as many notes from LinkedIn Premium, but it definitely is a pretty penny to pay for LinkedIn, but you can always add in a note. I think it's about 300 characters. So make sure to keep your messages short and sweet and to the point. Any other questions? Okay, no problem, Shabnam. Thanks, Steve. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. This was great. It was lovely connecting with you. Feel free to reach out to me and we can keep the conversation going. Have a good one.